ज्योतिहा हे सूर्य तेजसा द्योतते वाक् स्फुरति प्रज्ञा तमसः पारक पॉडकास्ट मंचे ज्ञानस्य धारा तव वाणी नो जीवनाधारा ज्योतिः
Welcome back to Beam Me Up, everyone. Today, we are leaving behind the world of King Prithu and looking straight into the sky. But not to study astronomy. We are actually here to look at a family problem, a cosmic family problem.
Which already sounds terrifying, honestly. Because when normal families fight, it's already stressful enough, okay? Now imagine the sun involved.
Exactly. And today's story asks a surprisingly human question. What happens when someone is genuinely brilliant, deeply sacred, absolutely life-giving, and still becomes impossible to live beside?
That's the emotional center of this entire episode. Because today we meet Surya, the sun god, radiant, majestic, life-giving, and yet his own wife Sañjñā slowly reaches a point where the sun can no longer be around. I mean, she cannot bear his presence.
Wait. So technically, the sun's problem was that he was too much sun?
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. Yes, that is literally the problem.
And the Padma Purāṇa captures it in a devastating phase. Tatastejomayam rupam asahanti vivasvataha. She could no longer endure the blazing radiance of Surya. That word, asahanti, unable to bear, not emotionally rejecting him or not hating him, simply unable to survive that intensity anymore.
That honestly makes the story so much sadder because Surya isn't evil. So he's just a little, okay, not a little, but he's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that creates one of the deepest insights in the whole episode. Sometimes intensity itself becomes a form of distance.
Oof, that's painfully true actually.
Yes, and all of us have experienced smaller versions of these. If you look at closely, sometimes someone can be too loud, too emotionally intense, too reactive, too constantly on, even if they love us deeply. That's the irony here. And we slowly, we lose the ability to breathe beside them.
Like standing near a bonfire, right? Beautiful from a distance. Everybody wants to go closer, but when you get too close, it's unbearable.
And like it's too close. So what does Sañjñā do? Because you can't exactly ask the sun to switch to low brightness mode,
No, that is not possible. And that's where the story becomes psychologically fascinating. Sañjñā creates a replacement, a perfect shadow double of herself, named Chaya. Literally shadow.
Yeah.
Now, Chaya looked exactly like Sañjñā. Sañjñā tells to Chaya, serve my husband Surya, look after my children with the true love as they were your own.
Wait, what? That is simultaneously genius and horrifying.
And you know what's the really eerie part? Surya doesn't realize the switch happened at all.
That is terrifying.
And honestly, deeply symbolic as well. Because sometimes relationships continue externally long after emotional presence has disappeared.
Just like those parts where there's a stunt double in the movie when you think you're seeing the real actor, the hero, but then it's a stunt double.
Yeah.
So technically, Surya is living with someone who looks exactly like Sañjñā, but emotionally isn't her.
Yeah.
And that may be one of the creepiest parts of this story. The routine continues, the house functions, the conversations still happen, but the soul has quietly left the room. And yet, Surya doesn't notice, which is also profound. Because sometimes people become so absorbed in their own intensity, they stop seeing emotional exhaustion around them. Look at it this way. Now, if it's us and we're like too absorbed in ourselves, self-centered, we're not able to see what is happening from another person's perspective. And usually sun is a symbol of light. And at this point, it is happening to Surya himself that he is absorbed in his intensity and he's not able to see the shadow.
Yeah, that is the thing.
I mean, because of like all those reasons, that line hit me hard, honestly.
But eventually, someone notices the difference. And interesting, and it's fascinating that it's the children.
Of course, because like children always know when something's emotionally off. Even adults, like in that case, do not realize it before children do, especially when it's a mother.
Indeed.
Exactly. Sañjñā had her own children with Surya. They were Vaivasvata Manu, Yama, and Yamuna.
And I guess Yamuna and Yama were twins.
Yes.
Yeah, they were born together.
Vaivasvata Manu was the eldest son. And actually, the current Manvantara that we're in, that is the Manu responsible for that Manvantara is Vaivasvata Manu.
Yeah. And like we had discussed in the past, there are 14 Manus overall.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is one of them. And like we mentioned previously as well, right? As per Sañjñā's orders, Chaya took care of these children with the same love for them as Sañjñā. But Chaya eventually has children of her own with Surya.
This had to happen.
And this included Savarni Manu, Shani, and Tapati.
Wait, the next Manvantara that's about to come, that's Savarni Manu's Manvantara, right?
Yeah, indeed. The one that follows this Vaivasvata Manvantara is Savarni Manvantara.
Savarni Manvantara.
Yeah.
Yes. And slowly, she begins favoring her own children, especially Savarni Manu.
Oh no, poor Yama.
Yeah.
Because, Vaivasvata Manu has like a lot of responsibilities and he's like, the eldest son. So for him, it doesn't matter. But Yama and Yamuna are comparatively, the twins. Smaller ones. So Yama, usually the children, the male children, they want to crave for the mother's attention. Which Yama has slowly, it's reduced.
And he might have also technically felt like, because he's a little older than Savarni Manu, not a little, like pretty older than Savarni Manu, I think he felt like he deserved more or something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
Young Yama was deeply hurt by this unequal treatment. And one day, he completely loses his patience.
Expected, yeah. Yeah, and it's honestly relatable. Yeah.
In a childish burst of frustration, he raises his foot toward Chaya in anger. Actually, it's the right foot in anger. And Chaya instantly curses him. Brutally, actually. Because she tells that, because you raised your foot against me, may this leg be infested with worms and may it ooze blood and pus.
Okay, that escalated extremely quickly.
I did.
So fast.
Yeah.
Poor Yama is basically running around like, Dad, I think mom is not mom anymore.
What a nice way of saying it. It's relatable to the modern world, right? But especially
Wait, but can he run after all that?
Yeah, especially when in America, when there are like multiple wives, right? It's relatable. Honestly, yeah. I mean, this becomes the turning point of the story because truth enters the household through discomfort.
That's actually profound because hidden fractures usually reveal themselves through emotional pain first.
Exactly. And Yama's suffering becomes the thing that finally exposes the illusion. And now comes my most favorite section in the entire episode, honestly. Because Surya finally learns the truth. He's now exposed to the light. The light exposed to the light. He tells Yama, "My son, the web of karma is unavoidable, but I will soften this curse. A wild rooster, Krikwaku, will eat away the worms and your leg will heal. It will be beautiful and functional again, even if you walk with a slight graceful limp." This is such a nice way of, optimism that he's showing. Inspired by this, Yama doesn't become bitter. He goes to Pushkara, performs 10,000 years of tapas, and becomes Dharma Raja,
Mhm.
the Lord of Justice. Because he experienced unfairness as a child, he becomes the perfect cosmic judge. Now look at this transformation. It's like he is not cribbing about what's happening, but he is going in a positive direction and doing something
Yeah.
really productive.
It's a very inspirational story.
Mm.
But look at it from Surya's angle. He discovers suddenly that Sañjñā left, Chaya replaced her, and his unbearable radiance caused the fracture. So he goes to Vishwakarma, the divine architect, and he is also called as Twashta. He is the father of Sañjñā.
I mean, that conversation must have been extremely awkward.
Imagine Vishwakarma trying to politely explain, "Look, you're just painfully bright."
Yeah.
And Vishwakarma, at this point, he offers an astonishing solution also. He says, "If you permit me, I will reduce your unbearable intensity."
Wait. So Vishwakarma basically puts the sun on a cosmic polishing machine?
Yeah. That's what it sounds like. This may be the
Polishing
first divine heat reduction service in Puranic history.
And this scene is unbelievably cinematic. Vishwakarma places Surya upon a celestial spinning lathe and carefully trims away the excess radiance, not destroying the sun, refining him.
That is such a beautiful metaphor, honestly. Because sometimes relationships are not healed by increasing love, but by reducing emotional intensity.
That may be one of the greatest relationship lessons hidden inside the story. Not every problem requires more force, more passion, more emotional flooding. That's the last thing you need. Sometimes healing begins when people finally become breathable again.
And this is very important, like very profound that you've said. Yes, absolutely, that's true. And then comes the most epic part. The removed solar energy does not go to waste.
Mhm.
It's used sustainably, if you have to tell it, modernly. Vishwakarma uses that excess blazing radiance to forge Viṣṇu's Sudarśana Chakra,
Wow.
Shiva's Triśūla, and Indra's Vajra.
Yes.
Prithak
Prithak
chakara
chakara tejascha
Chakram Viṣṇu prakalpayat Triśūlam chapi rudrasya Vajram indrasya chaparam.
Wow. Guys, you just recited amazingly well.
That is insane. So, the universe's most iconic divine weapons are basically forged from surplus relationship heat.
No,
And
if
one of those weapons are my favorite.
Yeah, and if you put it that way, it sounds really funny. Yeah, and go ahead. This is unbelievable to hear.
Yes. And now, transformed, gentler, approachable,
Hmm.
Surya descends to earth searching for Sañjñā. And because she is hiding as a mare, he himself takes the form of a radiant stallion.
Puranas really do not fear weirdness. Like, do not.
Not even slightly. At first, Sañjñā becomes startled. She thinks, who is this? And in nervousness, she exhales his energy through her nostrils. From that moment, emerge the twin Ashwini Kumaras, the celestial light-speed physicians of the gods.
Oh, wait. So the divine doctors of the universe are born from a startled cosmic horse reaction?
Yes. Honestly, only Puranas can narrate something this majestic and this unhinged simultaneously.
Yeah, that's what it proves.
I mean, wow. Born from the nose, so they are called Nasatyas.
Yeah.
And they become healers. It's amazing. It makes sense that a story about healing a marriage gives birth to the ultimate doctors of the universe.
Yeah, but eventually Sañjñā recognizes him not as the unbearable blazing sun she fled from, but as someone who finally learned tenderness, and the family reunites. And this is a happy thing, actually.
It's a very sweet.
Hmm.
Yes, the family aligns perfectly. Chaya's son Shani becomes a mighty planet through his own tapas. And like we already previously spoke about by Vasvatamanu and Yama also, they also become, really important for this universe. And her daughters Yamuna and Tapati become beautiful life-giving rivers that flow across India even today. Our Bharata Desha is nourished by these rivers. And no one is destroyed. Everything find its right, sustainable place.
Hmm.
The ending feels so peaceful, honestly. No destruction, no revenge, no humiliation, just understanding.
Wow. Yeah.
And perhaps that's the true beauty of the story. Surya did not become weaker. He became livable.
Yeah, and maybe that's what the story quietly leaves us with today. Even the sun, the source of life itself, had to learn moderation before intimacy became possible.
That's honestly such a beautiful thought.
Because brilliance alone does not sustain relationships. Warmth does.
Yeah, absolutely. And perhaps even now, the greatest light in our lives may simply be waiting to become gentle enough for us to stand beside it. So this was a beautiful episode, and thank you very much for again associating with us. We'll meet again in the next episode. Shubhodar Kaha.